Hello. Good evening, everyone. I'm Linwood Jackson. You're listening to the Linwood Jackson Radio Show. Just want to thank you for joining us. A great Sunday afternoon out there. I just wanted to play a little bit from Mr. Al Turner, the Burner, featuring his latest CD, Sunny Days. Now remember, communication and dialogues are central components to empowerment. No voice is special until it is heard. So get out there and speak on the issues, man. Make yourself heard. Now, we all know that in the city of Wilmington, Delaware, we have a rich and diverse cultural arts community. Today, we want to talk a little bit about that because our youth need to hear about and be involved in the arts. That's what we're talking about today. Our next guest is very active out there in the community. She is the Metropolitan Wilmington Urban League President, Deborah Wilson. Deborah Wilson, how you doing today?
Yes, thank you.
Now, the National Urban League was founded in 1910. It is the nation's oldest and largest community-based movement devoted to empowering African Americans to enter the economic and social mainstream. Mm-hmm. And you came on to talk to us a little bit about the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Civil Rights Act. Is that correct?
That's right. We, over the past few years, have celebrated several milestones in the history of the civil rights movement, and really looking at the 50th anniversary since the signing of the Civil Rights Act, I think it's a time for people to really reflect on the significance of what the Civil Rights Act did, but also to look at what has happened over the past 50 years. And unfortunately, the reality is that we are, if we're not careful, we have lost ground, and we will continue to see ourselves losing ground if we're not really diligent about issues related to civil rights in this country.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. And what is the first thing you did after taking office in the National Urban League?
After coming to this
Wilmington
affiliate?
Urban League, coming to Wilmington.
Coming to Wilmington. I came to Wilmington from another affiliate, so I've been in the movement for about 12 years now. And Wilmington was evolving. This affiliate has been around since the year 2000. One of the younger affiliates in the movement, as you mentioned, we were 104 years old this year. Mm-hmm. So this affiliate started operationally in 2000, founded by James H. Gilliam Sr., mentor and civil rights icon. Tony Allen being our first president. The affiliate started with a focus on public policy and advocacy and research. As I came on board in late 2007, there was an evolution with this particular affiliate to shift into a model that looks more like most of the affiliates you see across the country, that includes direct service.
Right.
And this was experience I brought from Colorado Springs. We had a full array of services that we provided for the community out there, in addition to the public policy and advocacy agenda. So one of the things that I really focused on in starting was the evolution of our fledgling Achievement Matters program that focused on looking at the achievement gap and really targeting middle schools in this community. And so I'm pleased to say we have a very robust education agenda, both from the perspective of policy, but also direct service, serving 170 students and families in this community today. So that was one thing. Mm-hmm. Another thing was this league had a couple of events, but they did not have an annual signature event. So the idea behind Lions and Legends had been conceived, and they've been sort of working through how they would do it. The annual Equal Opportunity Day celebration is a tradition of the Urban League, and it's something my other affiliate had done for years. So we started this gala, our Lions and Legends Equal Opportunity Day celebration, in 2008 on a day that was the 40th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King.
Right.
We started looking at a time of reflection. Really, what has been accomplished, and what legacy did Dr. King leave us? What has been accomplished in the 40 years since his assassination? And so over the past 7 years, we've continued to really look and reflect, looking nationally at what's going on, and then incorporating that in our themes locally. But our celebration is also a time of reflection. This year, reflecting 50 years since the Civil Rights Act signing. and recognizing 5 individuals in our community that really contribute and uphold the ideals in our mission.
The day that changed history, the 50th anniversary of signing of the Civil Rights Act signed by President Lyndon Johnson at the time, following behind President Kennedy and Martin King and Malcolm, and all of those guys were assassinated, and President Johnson was able to get the Civil Rights Act signed, as you said, an important and historical milestone in the fight for civil rights, equal rights, and justice for all people. And you guys over at the Wilmington Urban League have a function coming up, the 7th annual Lines and Legends function, and your theme is
Day That Changed History, commemorating the signing of the Civil Rights Act.
And you're recognizing local leaders and activists throughout the community. Would you want to just tell us a little bit about those guys?
Absolutely.
Who's being honored this year?
Absolutely. We give 5 awards, and the awards are named after significant individuals, both within the Urban League movement and within our own community. And this year, I'm delighted to share that we are honoring Penrose Hollins, who has been a long-time advocate, especially around affordable housing, county councilman in this community. Dr. Joseph E. Johnson, who was first African-American school superintendent, and really was pivotal in the testifying in the actions around desegregation of schools and really looking at educational equity in this community.
Yes.
Ernest Sammy Congo. Everybody knows
Mr. Congo.
And hopefully truly appreciate a lot of the work he does behind the scenes, making things happening and contributing to making things happen in this community. So we're delighted to honor him with the James H. Gilliam Jr. Humanitarian Award. Not only recognizes community service, but also community philanthropy. We're recognizing Tyrone Jones, who is with AstraZeneca. He used to be a part of he is still a part of the Urban League movement, let me put it that way. But he was the vice president and interim CEO during the time when I was brought on board to the Urban League. But he's getting the Littleton P. Mitchell Community Service Award, and he's just been a very strong community advocate around issues, especially around the health of all Delawareans and making sure that people are insured.
Right.
And then lastly, the newest award that we added a couple of years ago, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Next Generation Leadership Award, is going to Brother Nnamdi Shakwosha, city councilman, community advocate, community role model. So we are really pleased to honor the work of these 5 individuals and to recognize their work and the connection with the ideals of the Urban League mission.
Absolutely, and the work that you're doing here in the community goes without saying is outstanding. I've worked closely with a couple of the honorees this year, and I commend you for recognizing them. And did you tell us what day and time?
Absolutely. It's May 22nd. It's coming up this Thursday. Reception starts at 5:30, and the program will start at 6:30. So we will be at the Chase Center on the riverfront, and it's always just a wonderful community celebration. You see a lot of different people come together at the celebration, and people just really enjoy it. So we're looking forward to another good evening.
And this is a fundraiser, and the proceeds go towards, tell us about that.
It is a fundraiser, and I do want to acknowledge our event sponsor, which is Citi Bank, and presenting sponsors DuPont and State Farm. But really it's the support of the community that also makes this work. It is a critical fundraiser because as many people are aware, if you're working in the nonprofit community and you're tapping into various funding sources, a lot of times they're program specific funding sources. So we may get support for our education programs or for our men's health conference or whatever, but it's that general unrestricted support that is the most difficult to raise, and it's critical to the operations of any organization. So this event is an event that raises those unrestricted dollars, that helps to support our advocacy work, allows us to be responsive to issues in the community, and just provides general revenue for the work of the League.
Well, we wish you much success. I hope everybody in the community goes out and supports this great cause. Get your tickets now. How can they get them?
They can go to our website, www.mwul.org. Just think Metropolitan Wilmington Urban League, mwul.org. They can purchase them online, or they can call our office, 302-622-4300, and they can purchase tickets that way as well.
That's right. Get them now. Get them fast. Get them right now because they are selling out real quick. And I don't think you can get them at the door.
Cannot get them at the door.
That's right, because we need a head count because you're going to have a great meal, I presume.
Yes.
To go along with that, and we need a head count for the caterers there.
Absolutely.
And again, we're supporting education. The Urban League supports economic development, empowerment initiatives all throughout the country. And Lord knows we need it here in Wilmington. And that's why we commend Ms. Deborah Wilson, President, Metropolitan Urban League in Wilmington, for doing the work and the job that they're doing. Again, we want to encourage you guys to get on out there and get your tickets to this great Lions and Legends 7th Annual Awards fundraising banquet. Ms. Wilson, tell us, what's the hardest part that you face in working with the Urban League?
I think it's always challenging to educating the community on various issues, and bringing the importance of things to light. It's very difficult when you talk about inequity. It's difficult when you talk about racial justice and injustice. People get defensive. No one wants to be called a racist. Well, that's not necessarily what we're talking about. What we are saying is we know that we do not live in a post-racial America. That's a myth. We know that the playing field is not level for everyone. As a result, we have systemic cycles of injustice and inequity that result in a lot of different things. We talk about crime on the streets. We talk about students are not performing, they're not completing school, economic development and looking at communities and people really dealing in poverty. A lot of these things are certainly interrelated, and a lot of these things are built on systems, generational, decades-long systems of inequity. So the work of the league sometimes can be overwhelming, I think, because sometimes it feels as though you're not making progress. And also sometimes we see that things slide back. Case in point, as I mentioned, as we were talking about the 50th anniversary since the signing of the Civil Rights Act, just this past year we had a major blow struck to the Voting Rights Act. We celebrated the 50th anniversary of that. Major blow, Supreme Court striking down a major provision there. So we make progress, and then we see progress being pushed back. So sometimes I think people can be discouraged, but what I would say is, if you look at our mission, it's empowering people of color, specifically, working with African Americans to achieve parity, equal rights. You can't give up on those missions. You can't give up on people and communities, and it takes a constant work of people who are concerned, people who are dedicated to making sure that the American dream works for everybody. It takes a constant effort. So we don't get any rest, and I think sometimes that's the most challenging piece about the work. Is just sometimes it seems like you're constantly having to overcome some of the same battles that we've fought years ago.
That's right. Equal rights and justice for all. It didn't come easy. It takes a lot of work and over a lot of time. It seems as though we're talking about the 50th anniversary of signing of the Civil Rights Act, and that act was signed because everybody didn't have civil rights in this great country of ours. You're right, Ms. President. We came a long way. We still have a long way to go, and it takes work. You and the Urban League are certainly doing your part as an organization, and you take memberships. How can someone become a member?
Absolutely.
Of the Urban League of Delaware?
We certainly do welcome membership, and if you are making a donation to the Urban League, you have become a member. So it's a very simple process. People can go on the website, or they can call our office if you'd like to make a donation and become a member. We also have two auxiliary organizations that have membership, very specific membership. Our Young Professionals organization, which is affinity group for those who are 40 and under. encouraging and building that next generation of leadership, so people can become members of that group. And we also have the Guild, which is focused on, I would say, then your over 40 group, but a wonderful group of volunteers who support the mission and work of the League. And you could become members of either of those two organizations, but in general, you can certainly make a donation to the Urban League, the Metropolitan Wilmington Urban League, and you will become a member of the Urban League.
Now, would that include, like, if we get tickets to this function you have, Lions and Legends, does that include membership? No?
That does not include membership.
Because that's a fundraiser, and the proceeds of that goes to
right.
a specific cause.
Absolutely. But certainly you can call the office, and we can give you all the information you would need to become a member.
Now, what are your plans in the short term and the long term as president of the Urban League?
Well, for one, I think it's very important for us to continue the advocate voice. Mr. Gilliam was very specific in his intention of starting the league that would represent communities of color, having a very strong advocate voice around issues that are important and the issues that support the mission. And I think that's very, very important. There are a lot of issues to deal with, and we focus primarily in three areas with what we call our Urban Community Empowerment Initiative, building equity and building the community of color from the perspective of dealing with issues in education, economic development, and health. We also need to consider the fact that as you look at those three issues and you look at issues around inequity, the civil rights and racial justice piece is a key part of that. So it's all interconnected. And so the work of the League is to look at these issues, look at those connections sometimes. There are lots of organizations that work in either the areas of education or maybe in health, economic development. I think we are uniquely positioned that we're the only one that really looks at all of those issues specifically as it relates to communities of color, African Americans. So it's very important that we maintain that presence and sit around the tables with decision makers and bring that voice for the community we represent to the table, addressing issues, advocating. On the other hand, it's also important, I think, for us to be, our national president, Mark Marial, always says that the Urban League is a do tank, not just a think tank. We've always been a service provider. We've always been an organization that has provided the demonstration project because years and years and years ago, we realized once you advocate and get some system put in place or a law change that allows something, many times things didn't happen because there was no one to see it through. So we've always been a program service provider, making sure that the communities that we support are getting access to the programs that are needed to help them deal with issues around education, economic development, health. So it's building our program, the impact of our program portfolio. We've had a very strong presence in the education arena. Our Achievement Matters and Project Ready programs, which focus on middle and high school students. We have, for the last 5 years, offered our Healthy Men of Color Summit.
I've been to a couple of them, and they're great. You guys are putting out some great information, and it's only made possible through the contributions of the people out there listening and getting involved with your fundraisers and the activities that you have going on, like the
Lions and Legends.
Lions and Legends,
yes.
Coming up this Thursday, May 22nd. Get your tickets now. President Wilson, we're coming down with our time now, but would you say that education will be the great equalizer in today's world?
You know, we've often said in recent days, especially, education is the new civil rights movement. It's the new frontier for the civil rights movement. I think if you look at the issues we've talked about, inequities in terms of economic development, health, education is that equalizer. If we cannot educate our children, if we cannot bring them to a performance level so that they can really compete, so that we are playing on a level playing field, then you deal with other issues such as the cost to society of not only crime, but if you look at our health outcomes, the cost of society to provide for people who are chronically ill, who have historically been chronically ill and had poor health outcomes. Also dealing with the cost to society of people who don't see any hope.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm glad that President Obama came out with the Affordable Health Plan.
Yes.
Now, for the first time in the history of America, we can all afford health care. So get out there and get your health care check so that you can get back in school, get off those chairs. I know a lot of people sitting there eating popcorn and listening to us, this Sunday afternoon. But you can be a help. You got your cell phones right there. And nowadays, they can access the internet and they can and get out and call and get in touch with these great organizations and become involved. You don't just, you can be involved in this struggle for equal rights and civil rights for all people, including especially our children. We're coming up to our last minutes. You got any closing thoughts you'd like to say to people who may be listening?
Just that I'd like for the community to realize that and to remember that we, Metropolitan Wilmington Urban League, the Urban League is your urban league. We are here to support and advocate on behalf of our community. And we are doing great work. So I appreciate the support, but to be aware and just understand how issues impact you.
I know that's right.
And let your voice be heard.
Ladies and gentlemen, let your voice be heard. You've been listening to Ms. Deborah Wilson. She's the president of the Metropolitan Wilmington Urban League, and it is my distinct pleasure to interview you. I did have the opportunity to interview Mr. Mark Murrell, your national president, last year, so it's an honor to be able to talk with you this year. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break.
Absolutely. I am Deborah Wilson of the Metropolitan Wilmington Urban League, and you're listening to the Linwood Jackson Radio Show on WFAI 1510 AM, and we'll be right back.
All right, we're back, guys. Today we're featuring the smooth sounds of Mr. Al Turner, the Burner, his latest CD, Sunny Days, and you just heard the featured song, Sunny Days, which was titled by his wife, his lovely wife and partner. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank my guests today, Mr. Al Turner, the Burner, and Miss Deborah Wilson, president of the Urban League. You've been listening to the Linwood Jackson Radio Show. Please tune in next week. We'll do it again each and every Sunday, bringing you the issues, the solution, and the fun stuff, too. Thank you very much.
Join Linwood Jackson every Sunday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. for the all-new Linwood Jackson Radio Show on WFAI 1510 AM. Every Sunday, Linwood will tackle the issues close to your heart, from civil rights and politics to community affairs around the first state and the nation. Linwood speaks on the issues facing citizens in our area on a weekly basis, but his show is so much more. Linwood will talk about his passions, such as dancing and traveling the world and helping people broaden their horizons while embracing different cultures. That's the Linwood Jackson Radio Show every Sunday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on the all-new WFAI 1510 AM.